Hare Krishna. So we are continuing second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, contents of the Gita summarized, 39th verse. I'm sharing my screen here. Okay, so Krishna is giving different, is trying to induce Arjuna to give up all his hesitations and get up and fight, and he's giving reasons like even if you are killed, then you are going to attain heavenly planets. If you are anyways you are victorious, then you will enjoy the kingdom. So just fight for the sake of fighting without considering whether you will gain or lose or so on. 39th. Okay. Yeah, anyone would like to read? Anisha Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, ma'am. Iste hi vihita sankhe buddhi yogi iman shvinu buddhya yukto yat part karma bandham raha. You see, word meanings. Desha, all this, saw unto you. Avihita described Sankhya by analytical study. Buddhi, intelligence. Yogi, in work without fruitive result. Few, but Imam says, Shinu, just here. Buddha, by intelligence. Yukta, to fail. Ya, by which. Path, O son of Path. Karam Bandham, bondage of reaction. Praha, you see, you can be released from. Translation. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of part, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. According to the Nirupti or the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes things in detail, and Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal to fight was based on sense gratification, not to fight. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at a sacrifice of wisdom and beauty. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper, and explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future because all of us are individual souls eternally. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, I think I'm just searching where does this paragraph end. Yeah, you can continue till this, this one paragraph you can cover whole.
Okay. We simply change our bodily dress in different manners, but actually we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Lord Krishna, and this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya in terms of Nirupti dictionary. The Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devati. It is clearly explained by him that the Purush or the Supreme Lord is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last layer of Maya, or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activity that a great soul surrenders into Vasudev, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So it's a long puppet, so we'll do it part by part. Okay, so Krishna is further saying, so till now I have given you knowledge according to like based on analytical study. So now I'm going to tell you about um, about this transcendental knowledge in terms of working without fruitive results, means without expecting or without being attached to that fruitive results, without you know expectation of that result, how one can work. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Okay, so Prabhupada is mentioning here that Sankhya means that which describes things in detail. Sankhya refers to that philosophy which discuss. So, Sankhya philosophy is like it is detailed description of the elements of the material world and everything, and it to trace back its origin when one analyzes all the material elements and everything, finally one comes to the point of to point the conclusion that yes, the supreme personality of God is the source of all these things. But elsewhere, I think in one of Prabhupada's purports only, it's mentioned about um, now Sankhya philosophy is something like you have to find the root. You have to first find out the root of the plant and then water at that root. Now bhakti, or is like already the position of the root of the plant is known to you, so you just need to water it. So it's like that, analytical study of the material elements, and finally comes to the conclusion that okay, it's all coming from Krishna or the Supreme Lord, and so on. That is Sankhya philosophy. Now Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Why? Because he was like, okay, we will incur sins. Uh, this was sense or sense gratification in terms of one's own um, reputation, and then the other was okay, my family members, my own kinsmen, my brothers, my teacher, so they will be all killed, so I don't want to fight. So that is also a kind of sense, was based on sense gratification, because it said extended sense gratification, no, anyways that term I, me and mine, or that concept of I, me and mine, as long as it is there, that means we are engaged in sense gratification. Now, forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting. So, Arjuna, we saw in the first chapter, he gives different reasons why he doesn't want to fight. Because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom. So, as per Arjuna, why should I kill? Why should I risk the life of so many people here. So better I don't fight. I don't want this kingdom. It's okay whatever the other party will do with us. So it's like um, he would be okay, because as per Arjuna, if he doesn't fight, then he'll be more happy than killing his own family members, and so then by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, sons, Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. This we understood, I hope. Happiness derived from conquering them or happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at the sacrifice of wisdom and duty. So because anyways, my son, my property, my family, my father, my mother, so that concept of my is still there. That's why it is like some misidentification of the body is still there. So that's why that is considered sense gratification. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper. So it will be just the body of his grandfather which will be killed, but his grandfather or the actual spirit soul will be same. He explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were present in the past. So if you remember this verse, we have already come across this verse in can anyone remember which verse was that? That we are eternal individuals. There is no concept of individuals, like they were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will there is no concept of like they will cease, the individuality of some being is going to cease in future. So not that. So this is present, this is mentioned by Krishna in 2 point Suchin Anusaption and 12, I think. Okay, and they remain and they will continue to remain individuals in the future, because all of us are individual souls eternally. We simply change our bodily dress in terms of manners, but actually we keep some our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of this material dress or the material body. So I hope that is very clear. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by the Lord. So, what's that? And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and body from different angles of vision has been described even here as Sankhya in terms of Nirukti dictionary. So, this is a special dictionary. This Sankhya has nothing to do now. Sankhya philosophy, it is bona fide. It was given by Kapila Dev to his mother Devavati. But later there was some other Kapila, someone else with with the same name Kapila Dev, and he propounded a Sankhya philosophy, which was actually atheistic philosophy. Now, okay, it is clearly explained by him that the Purusha or the Supreme Lord is active, and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti, so by glancing. This is accepted in the Vedas this is accepted in the Vedas and the Gita. Description in the Vedas describes that the Lord glanced over Prakriti, and the Prakriti got um, individuals. I mean, they started taking different bodies, and all this creation, what we are seeing around us, happened. And impregnated with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification. And under the spell of the material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with God. So, Even the concept, the Mayavadis or impersonalists who want to merge in the Lord, so that is also um, um, like is said as this last snare of Maya. It also falls in the category of Maya or sense gratification. And it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activities that a great soul surrenders unto Vasudev, Lord Krishna. They were fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. So, anyway, so this is what the main point is, that individuality, about the existence of individuality, and then there is as long as we have this concept of I, me, and mine, so there is personal motive or personal, the bodily concept is still there. And Maya, becoming one with the Lord, is like last snare of Maya. So these were a few things in this paragraph. Okay, let me read this. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Shishyastaham sadhi mam tam papanam. This is 7th verse. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process of Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the where is it? Only for the sense gratification of the Lord. So the concept of sense gratification is not taken away, but it has to be directed to something proper. So sense gratification, if you are hungry, eating is also sense gratification. But if you are hungry, then somebody brings you a plate of prasadam, then you'll be like, oh, thank you. So so the act of eating is there, but now it is prasadam. When it is prasadam, then it is not no more on the platform of sense gratification, but you are honoring prasadam. Of course, overeating is also sense gratification, but in general, if you are having prasadam, so that is not sense gratification. But if you are having non-offered food, then that is of course sense gratification. So coming back to the point, the practice devotional service only for the sense Okay, so Krishna will now tell him about the working process of Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, and all this, and the practice devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. So that's how we have to use everything in service of the Lord. Service of the Lord means for His pleasure. For His pleasure or for His satisfaction. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10. So you can mark it, chapter 10, verse 10, as being direct communion with the Lord, and He is okay. I'm lost where I was. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process of this we did. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10. As being direct communion with the Lord, who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he's a super soul. He comes along with us and is sitting like the Paramatma is sitting side by side to the to the living entity or Atma. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. So one cannot just simply, um, you know, communicate or something. Yeah, but such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to this stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does He award the pure knowledge of devotional service in Him. In that way, the devotee can reach Him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. So, the point is, the sense is that yeah, we have to practice Krishna consciousness seriously. Again, this is very big. Okay, anyone would like to read Mataji's one paragraph?
Mataji, should I?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord, and the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya Yoga enunciated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand that the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with the atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time, nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculations. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjun to the point of Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in the Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men take a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya Yoga प्रत्येकबलः प्रविदन्ति न पंडिता. Next.
Yeah, maybe that small one line can cover
Okay.
that.
Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with the Bhakti Yoga, yet the unintelligent claim that the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, the Buddhi Yoga, which is mentioned here, is specifically referring to devotional service of the Lord. And when it is mentioned about Sankhya Yoga, Prabhupada is clarifying this thing that okay, it is not referring to the Sankhya philosophy, the atheistic Sankhya philosophy, which was proposed of like by some, by someone, but as per scriptures we can understand that the Sankhya philosophy, the actual Sankhya philosophy is, as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, it was explained by Kapila Muni to his mother. So after Karda Muni left home, so Kapila Muni gave that spiritual knowledge to his mother. One should not therefore misunderstand the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time, nor would Lord Krishna care to mention this godless philosophical speculation. Of course, Krishna will not quote something which is not very kind of a speculative type. So, real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila. So, this we have seen here. Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in the um, as described in the Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya and Bhakti. So, earlier also we discussed that Sankhya Yoga ultimately brings one to Krishna only. But Bhakti Yoga is something which is like a, one is like you have to go to the 10th floor, climbing the staircase. And the other option will be, okay, you can go to 10th floor, there is a lift here, so you can use that and go. So it's similar to that Bhakti Yoga is much um, easier. I mean, actually, this is what is prescribed for this age. Sankhya Yoga and all. Okay, previous times it could be there, but at present, chanting of the holy names is a primary. That comes under Bhakti Yoga. Of course, atheistic Sankhya has nothing to do with the Bhakti Yoga. Yet, unintelligent people claim that the actual um, what do you say? Again, I lost it. Yet the unintelligent claimed by the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to as to in the Bhagavad Gita. So, Prabhupada is just clarifying. I don't have much to explain here. Okay, one more paragraph, we'll cover it and then we'll stop. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only. So, this is very important that our activity should be for His satisfaction. That is actual sense gratification, because senses are actually belonging to Him. So, we should gratify the Lord only. However difficult such work may be, is working, and however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental understanding automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself without his making external effort to acquire knowledge. Therefore, the now, there is difference between work in Krishna consciousness. There is much difference between work in Krishna consciousness and work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification or achieving result in terms of family or material relatives. Like in office and all, those who have experience, they might be calling you for dinner or lunch or something, but tactfully one can escape that, or at least one can find permission for some time. Okay, something. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm mixing few things and I'm just. There's much difference between working Krishna consciousness, working for fruitive activity, especially in the matter of sense gratification, for achieving results in terms of family and material happiness. So the basic point is, whatever activities do, we have to be, we have to see that it is for Krishna, or it can be used in service of Krishna, not for my personal things. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So I'll stop here. I'm sorry, there was little bit distractions, and so I was little bit